a line from a poem. Can I have a show of hands? Has anyone in this room heard this poem before? My evaluator has, which is very good for me. This is actually a paragraph in a poem by the poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and the name of the poem is The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. The topic of my speech today will be about rain and water, which I think is very relevant to the current weather that we have. In this particular poem, what happens is imagine yourself, as you can imagine, a mariner is someone that captains a ship, and this ship has set sail from a very sunny port. A port, it could be in Asia, it could be in Africa, it could be in Europe. So they set sail with a crew of 17 sailors, and they are sailing across to their destination. And along the sail, and also bear in mind that this happened in about the 17th, 18th century, we are looking at a galleon, which is a sailing ship, which is constructed of wood. And as they were sailing along, the mariner in the ship, he actually saw an albatross flying in the sky. An albatross would be what you could imagine to be a white bird. And as they were sailing, it wasn't a very windy day, and the sails were lowered, the mariner actually shot the albatross. He took his bow and his spear, and he shot the albatross. And the albatross lay, boom, dead onto the ship's deck. At first, the sailors thought that this was a very good thing, because they had a bit of sport, they had a bit of fun, and they had a dead albatross on deck. But as the days continued, they actually realized that this was a curse. Because apart from sailing onto the smooth seas, sunny days with beautiful views of the horizon at sunset, they now sailed into stormy seas. The weather took a turn for the worse. They sailed into mist and fog. The temperatures lowered. They started shivering. They encountered rain. They encountered hail. And many of the sailors fell sick. So they actually thought that it was a curse instead of a blessing. And what they actually did, when they took the albatross, they actually stringed up the albatross and they hung it around the neck of the mariner as a curse. And for 7 days and 7 nights, the mariner watched in horror as his crew members, all 17 of them, they died one by one in front of his eyes. And the last image of the face of death of his sailors was what he carried with him as they died. And after the 7 days and 7 nights, the mariner, he saw some sea creatures not specified in the poem. He saw some sea creatures swimming in the ocean, and he took it as a sign. So he prayed to God. He said to God, please lift this curse from me and my crew. And eventually the curse was lifted, and the now crewless ship, as it was sailing, it was actually rescued by another ship, and the mariner actually got off the ship, and what he did was he actually now wanders along, as the poem ends, he actually wanders along telling the tale as a lesson to people. So that is a very vivid image that I had when I listened to this poem when I was 18 years old, and all I could think when the lines were said, water, water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink. So that would be the ship sailing in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by water. And all the boards, the wooden boards, were shrinking because of the water and the salt content in the water, not a drop to drink. The sailors dying of thirst, they were hot, they were thirsty. They were in this indescribable scenario where they just wanted to escape. And it seemed to me such a futile and desperate situation that they were in. So that is my first impression of how water can be so powerful and how words can be so powerful. And nowadays, to move on to a lighter tone, water is also actually features very prominently in our headlines, in the newspapers. As Langorians, I think there is now an ongoing debate between the governments, the two governments. We won't go into politics. But water is also featuring very highly now in our daily lives. And there is an ongoing debate. And it all depends on whether you're a black and white person, or you see life with a little bit of grey, or if you have color in your life. I'm quite a black and white person generally, but I do add a little bit of color in my life. So when I think of water, I also think about the rain. And the rain is something that really I find very awe-inspiring. And some of my fondest memories are actually of thunderstorms. How many of you actually are happy, smile when it rains? And how many of you think that, you know, you really don't like the rain? Who's happy when it rains? Can I see a show? That's good. So you guys are very much like me. So I'm very happy that we have rain. I'm very happy when it rains. The rain lifts my spirits. When it rains, I smell. They say that rain is colorless and it's odorless. But to me, rain brings back smells of my childhood, smells of the rain falling on the grass, the smell of the wet grass. I wouldn't go into smell of a wet dog. Those are all the memories from my childhood. But the rain evokes all my senses. I think it is nurturing. I think it signifies rejuvenation and new life. So that is rain to me. And so I will leave you with asking you the next time when it rains, what does it remind you of? Where does it take you? And try and think back to some happy memories. Thank you very much.